Hey there guys, EctoMaster here. It is Wednesday, January 27th, and it is the 4th edition of the Overwatch Lookout. Overwatch Lookout, of course, is a weekly series where I take a look at Overwatch, the video game. I give any news, opinions, things like that, and then if we have time, we'll talk about some of the backstories to some of the Overwatch characters. Now, there was news that came out this past week about Overwatch, so we're going to take a look into that itself. We're also going to see, well, we'll see if there's anything else interesting to talk about. But anyways, let's get into this post from Jeff Kaplan, who finally broke the silence about Overwatch, because it's been quiet on their side. And I'm just going to read, and then we're going to get into a little bit of what he says. So, starts post, happy 2016, everyone. It's been a while since we've chatted, so I wanted to provide a quick update on the status of the Overwatch closed beta. When we brought the closed beta offline last December, we did so with the intent to use the downtime to address player feedback, work on some core features like progression, and adjust the balance of the game. Our goal was to have all of that work completed before bringing the closed beta back online, and our hope was to have that goal complete by middle to late January. And as it is now, we are at the end of January, so no more news yet besides this. While progress has been great and the team has been working super hard to get everything implemented on time, we're not quite ready to bring the closed beta back online just yet. We've been pretty open about the fact that we could slip into February from the beginning, but a big reason for this delay is that we really wanted to add one more big feature to the next big patch. After looking through all of the feedback from last year, one of the things we noticed players consistently mentioning was their desire for more game modes in Overwatch, in addition to the point capture and payload. I'm going to take a moment here to address this, and I agree that that probably is the biggest clamor of news, and that you have point capture and you have payload. And point capture is go to point A, or objective A, for the offensive team. Gain control of that point. If you gain control of that point, you go to point B, gain control of that, you win. It is up to the defensive team to stop them at either A or B and win the game. So, offensive team and point capture, go to a point, capture, win. Defense, stop them from capturing point, win. It's all in a set amount of time. Now, if you get, as you see, like in Hanamura, if you can get point A quickly, or if you get point A, you have a lot longer time to get point B, which gives the defense more time to kind of prepare for a win than offense. Anyways, the other one being payload, which is like Watchpoint Gibraltar, where you push lethal cards, to quote TF2, from point A to point B, and in some modes it's point A to point B to point C to point D, and then you win. And that's easy enough, and then again, of course, the whole point of defense is to stop the team from pushing that card, and if you get into the right mode, can actually start pushing the card back, which is great, and that's fine. The other one is actually a mixture of the two, where you have to, like King's Row, where you have to capture point A before you can start the payload push. So that's a little bit interesting. But they're not going to get into specifics. They are working on a new game mode. So there's going to be another mode coming. What it's going to be, again, they're not getting into specifics, so we don't know just yet. They have some great new maps to support it, so new maps are coming as well. They just need a little more time. So rather than try to rush a beta patch out this month, which would mean the new game mode would have to be put off, we're going to take a few extra weeks before bringing the closed beta back. By doing so, we can make sure we can include the new game mode along with the new maps. This will allow us to do some additional polish to the game's progression and reward system. Though all these features will still technically be a work in progress during the beta, we'd like them to be at a certain quality bar before releasing them for testing. This is an easy choice for us to make, and hopefully this post can help you understand why we made it. They don't have an exact date for when the beta close will resume, but right now they're looking at mid-February, and they don't intend to slip out of February. And they'll do their best to provide at least 1 week's notice before they're ready to get this beta party started. So there you go. So we're looking at mid-February, maybe the 16th, the week of the 16th, so the week after Deadpool. That is almost mid perfectly. Because then the week after that is the last week of February, because there's only 29 days next month. Only 29, right? So we're looking at 4 weeks total. So it's either going to be the week of the 10th or the week of the 17th. I would like the week of the 17th, please. That would be good. So there you have it. That is the big news. And other than that, there really isn't any news for Overwatch besides, hey, it's coming out in February with new maps and a new mode. And that's it. So what are my thoughts on all this as I kind of went through all of it? A new map is great. New maps are great. Because I think even in beta testing, I only saw the 3 for the weekend, which was Hanamura, Gibraltar, and Kings Row. I didn't get to see some of the others, and I only think there was 3 more after that. So the fact that I didn't even get to see those during the beta weekend, that kind of, I'm like, yeah, even more maps, please. Because things get stale after a while. Playing the same map over and over and over again, it's just going to be stale. So I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad for the new mode. It needs another mode. Another mode would be great. Fantastic, because they need it. Just having the 2 and a combination of the 2 is not really cause for much of a gain. And the fact that they're looking to add even more, even better. Why not? Now, besides that, there is really nothing else to discuss except that, yeah, that's what they're working on, and we can expect more. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about some backgrounds on some of these characters. We're going to do 3, might do 4, we'll see. We'll see how long it takes to get through the 3. So we're just going to go, again, just down the list. We're going to start with Junkrat and go from there. So Junkrat. Junkrat is an explosive-obsessed freak who lives to cause chaos and destruction. The attack on the Australian Omnium's fusion core forever altered the landscape of the Outback. After the detonation, the area was transformed into a harsh, irradiated wasteland littered with debris and the twisted fragments of the ruined facility, and unlivable to most. But there were some who survived, calling themselves the Junkers. They scavenged the husk of the Omnium and formed a lawless, cutthroat society in its shadow. Junkrat was one of them, eking out a living reclaiming metal and components from the ruins. Like many others, he was affected by the lingering radiation. This touch of madness made him ideal for handling dangerous explosives, a love which he turned into an obsession. He came to notoriety when he discovered an extremely valuable secret in the bones of the Omnium. Though few knew the nature of what he found, he was nonetheless pursued by bounty hunters, gangs, and opportunists wherever he went, until he made a deal with the Junker enforcer Roadhog, who grudgingly agreed to be his personal bodyguard in exchange for a 50-50 share of the spoils. Now, with Roadhog in tow, Junkrat has left the Outback and embarked upon an international crime spree, leaving nothing but havoc and bedlam in his wake. So, yeah, sorry about that. I'm still getting over this cold allergy thing. It's kind of like meshed together. So I'm stumbling over words even more so than normal. Let's move on to Lucio. Lucio is an international celebrity who inspires social change through his music and actions. Lucio Correa dos Santos, I'm bad with Spanish and Portuguese, grew up in Rio de Janeiro, in a poor and crowded favela that was hit hard by the financial upheaval following the Omnic crisis. As Brazil began the long process of recovery, he wanted to find a way to lift the spirits of those around him. He found his answer in music and its power to bring people together and even help them forget their troubles, if only for a short time. He performed on street corners and block parties, and as he got older, at a string of legendary underground shows. But Lucio's close-knit community was thrown into chaos when the multinational Viscar Corporation secured a contract to redevelop large tracts of the city. Lucio and his neighbors had been told that the development would improve their lives. However, that promise never became a reality. Viscar imposed controls on the residents in the name of building a more orderly society, enforcing curfews, cracking down on what the company perceived as lawless behavior and exploiting the populace as a cheap labor force. Lucio wouldn't stand for it. He stole Vishkar sonic technology that had been used to suppress the people, and he converted it into a tool to rally them to action. In a popular uprising, they drove Vishkar out of their neighborhoods. Lucio's leadership made him a star overnight and a symbol for positive social change. His music skyrocketed in popularity, whereas he had once performed locally, he was now filling arenas across the world. With his newfound name, Lucio realizes that he has an opportunity to make a difference and change the world for the better.
Yeah, let's show him what we can do.
I never really got a chance to play Lucio or Junkrat in the beta, but I'm hoping that I get into it next time, and hey, if I do, I'll give them a shot as well. So let's move on to Mai, or May, however you want to say it. Mai is a scientist who has taken the fight to preserve the environment into her own hands. Though many blame the planet's escalating unexplained climate phenomena on the advent of new technologies, the rapidly growing omnic population, and drastically increased consumption of resources, the true cause remained unknown. To find a solution, Overwatch established a series of eco-watch points at remote critical locations worldwide. Mai Ling Zhao was a member of this multi-year initiative. A peerless climatologist, she had introduced cutting-edge innovations in the field of climate manipulation that protected at-risk areas in Asia and beyond. She was assigned to the program's monitoring station in Watchpoint Antarctica when disaster struck. A sudden, catastrophic polar storm battered the installation and cut it off from the outside world, leaving the facility damaged and the scientists stranded. As their supplies dwindled, they entered cryostasis in a last-ditch effort to survive until a rescue attempt could be made. But that rescue never came. It was years later when the team's cryogenics chamber was finally discovered. Mai, still in hibernation, was the only survivor. The world Mai awoke to had gone through considerable changes. Overwatch was no more. The serious climate issues had worsened, and none of the eco-watch points were in operation. Any clues that they had uncovered were lost. Mai has decided to continue her work on her own, equipped with a portable version of her climate manipulation technology. She travels around the world hoping to re-establish the eco network and track down the causes of the threats to the planet's ecosystem. And seeing as we have time for just one more, we'll do one more, and that'll be Mercy. A guardian angel to those who come under her care, Dr. Angela Ziegler is a peerless healer, a brilliant scientist, and a staunch advocate for peace. Ziegler rose to become the head of security at a prominent Swiss hospital before pioneering a breakthrough in the field of applied nanobiology that radically improved the treatment of life-threatening illnesses and injuries. It was this expertise that attracted the attention of Overwatch. Because her parents had been taken away by war, Ziegler was opposed to the organization's militaristic approach to keeping global peace. Ultimately, she recognized that Overwatch offered her the opportunity to save lives on a much larger scale. As Overwatch's head of medical research, Angela sought to leverage her work for healing in the frontline crises? I don't know. The result was the Valkyrie Swift Response Suit, which Ziegler herself piloted on many Overwatch missions. I'm stumbling all over these words. Unfortunately, taking a quick break, it's a brown background with white letters, and for my eyes, it's a little hard to read. I should just copy and paste these. I really should. Despite her contributions to Overwatch, she was often at odds with her superiors and the organization's overarching aims. When Overwatch dissolved, Ziegler dedicated herself to helping those affected by war. Though she spends most of her time caring for the broken and dispossessed in crisis areas around the world, Dr. Ziegler can be counted on to don her Valkyrie suit whenever innocents are in peril. So there you have it, guys. That's all we're going to talk about this week. A few backgrounds, pieces, a little bit of news that we got. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Overwatch Lookout. We'll probably look at more characters as well as any news and views and things like that. As always, I am EctoMaster, and And I'm trying to think of this catchphrase. I made it up last week. And as always, be on the lookout.
竜が我が敵を